Hi, and welcome to the Reflective Rebels podcast, where every couple of weeks I sit down with someone to explore those moments when things changed in their lives. I'm Ben, a qualified coach, but this isn't a self-help podcast. These episodes aren't success stories with neat endings. They're honest conversations about bold decisions to shake things up, or what happens when the universe throws some shit our way. I'm on a mission to spread joy, because life is too short to be shit. My hope is that by hearing someone else's story today, you might feel more connected, learn something about yourself, or perhaps be inspired to rebel and do something different that feels good to you. Because you're not alone, you're gorgeous and amazing, and your story is not over yet. Let's get started. Right, let's jump in. So we'll start somewhere unexpected. Tell me, what's your favourite month of the year?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I think June. Because it's the start of summer. Summer's my favourite season. But I often find that June just has maybe not in the UK, but the best weather. So I've just been to Poland for 2 weeks and the weather was unreal. And it's just June, it's just that getaway to summer.
Yeah?
I love it.
What is it about summer that suits you then?
The long days, the really light nights, being able just to make the most out of your day rather than just feeling like you have to go to sleep at 7 o'clock because it's dark. So I love the light nights and it's just a different vibe. It just makes me happy when the sun's shining.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Talk me through a June day then, the perfect June day.
Oh, all I can picture is getting up early in the morning, naturally without an alarm clock, getting in the car, going for a hike, and just driving about afterwards, maybe getting a cheeky Starbucks or something. And that's literally it. On the night time, maybe have a barbecue with some friends or family and just chill out, just laugh. I mean, if I was closer to a beach, probably sit on the beach, but we're not that close.
No,
so I'll settle for a barbecue in the garden.
Where's the hike then?
Just anywhere in the Lake District. I don't have any particular spots that I would say are my favourite. I just like to explore. So you'll always find me on a different one. So All Trails is my favourite app. Not sponsored, by the way.
No. They can if they want to.
Well, yeah, of course. But yeah, I just pick whichever one I feel like. If I've got more time, I'd be like, right, let's do a longer one. Let's do a few in a row. Just however adventurous I'm feeling at that moment in time.
That's quite nice and quite spontaneous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very spontaneous. That's what I like.
Yeah?
I don't like to plan too much. It just makes me feel really rigid, really controlled. Don't like it. I'm a rebel by nature.
Oh, you're in the right place.
I am indeed. Very reflective rebel at the moment.
And you're so on brand.
Always.
Who's at the barbecue?
Good question. Normally I would say probably my family, because that's typically who I tend to have barbecues with. But if it wasn't family, it'd be just like my close group of friends. We're very close-knit and we all kind of talk to each other. So it's a nice little group and we've got things in common. So it's just always a nice chat. So, yeah, I'm not going to name them by name.
Oh, that's all right.
But, yeah.
You might forget someone and offend them
I know,
forever.
Imagine. They'll watch this back thinking, excuse me, where's my name? So, yeah, just either family or friends. Very, very close-knit.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So you mentioned going to Poland.
Yes.
Yeah? Tell us about your trip.
I mean, when I go to Poland, it's never really a holiday.
Okay, so why is that?
It's because it's my home country, technically.
Okay.
We typically go to sort stuff out. So whether it's family matters, medical matters, the dentists are much better in Poland, FYI.
Okay.
I just go there. So, yeah, it was more of a sorting things out type of trip. Still managed to enjoy some weather and see some of the kind of extended family. But apart from that, I need another holiday just to get over that one. The drive was nice because we ended up driving there.
Drive?
Yeah. We normally fly, but my dad wanted to take the camper van. So we all went in the camper.
Right.
Yeah, it was interesting. I wasn't camping there. I had an apartment. I'm not a camper. No, you will not find me in a camper van. Apart from just getting there and then, drop me off at the apartment. Thank you. So they camped. I didn't.
Camping's not for you?
No. I tried it. right? I tried it. I ended up parking the camper van in a Marriott hotel. That's my idea of camping. The camper van was in the car park. I did the North Coast 500 and I was like, no, I'm not staying in this. So yeah, I'm a lady of luxury.
So tell me about this camper van trip. Did you do it all in one drive?
Yeah, it was very long.
How long does that take?
So I think in the end, it took us about more than 24 hours, and I did not sleep.
Non-stop?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we stopped for like little breaks.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was like non-stop just to get there. I literally didn't sleep for about 30 plus hours. It was horrendous.
How do you survive that as a family in a car in
Do you know something? Relatively well.
Wow.
There was like no arguments. I was shocked too. I just told my mum, don't complain. That's one rule of the whole entire trip. Do not complain. So she essentially had to stay quiet the whole trip.
Right.
So, yeah. And me and my dad just, put the music on. We were just vibing. So yeah, it was quite nice. Plenty of coffee consumed just to get us through it.
Just to get you through?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but it was good.
I don't think I've ever done a drive anywhere close to that.
Do you know something? It's quite liberating in a weird way. I can't even explain it, but it's just, you have to try it.
Yeah.
It just feels different.
Just get in the car and go.
Yeah, just drive.
So when did you move over from Poland?
I was 10.
Right.
10 years old, yeah. So I turned 10 in February and we moved over in July. So that was an experience, to say the least.
Go on then, tell us.
Well, I moved over here with no English.
Okay.
Like, literally, all I could say was, what's your name? And hello, and that was it. So I came here in year 6. So I just started year 6, and that was just a learning curve because I essentially not only needed to fit in with a whole new different crowd, I would say somewhat different culture, and then learn the language at the same time as well, which was quite difficult. I remember one of the teachers took me into the computer room and we were literally on Google Translate talking about ice cream through Google Translate. So that was like my first memory of it.
Of being in that
yeah.
school.
But luckily, I didn't have any Polish kids in the school, which I think actually helped me because I was just forced in the deep end to do what I can to understand. And I was quite lucky that the kids were quite good at just showing me things. Like they would tell me something, I'd just look at them, like, I don't know what you're saying to me. And they would just show me. And that really helped me learn the language. And then ultimately, I kind of feel like I manifested being fluent because I used to sleep with the dictionary under my head saying, just go in. And it did. And I'm here now.
That's quite amazing.
Yeah. So I feel like that was my first kind of manifestation thing that I did.
Okay. Well, I'm really interested to know how that felt, if you don't mind talking about that, because it must have been a lot.
It was, yeah. I mean, leaving all my friends behind was really tough because I came from a small village. We were all very close-knit. I always had someone to hang about with. And I was all of a sudden moving to a town from a small village. So it was a completely different environment as well. And needed to make new friends. As I say, luckily, there were really nice people in my class. So I made friends quite quickly, even though we couldn't really communicate that well. They made the effort to help me, which was nice. I did have some experiences that weren't so good, which kind of made me realise that, oh yeah, I am different. And therefore, maybe I need to try a little bit harder at trying to fit in rather than perhaps be who I was back in Poland. So that was like my first experience of thinking, oh, hold on a minute, maybe being myself isn't good. So that obviously took a lot of undoing further down the line.
Later on. Do you mind telling us a couple of those? Or
yeah, so the first instance that I recall was actually one of the guys that I was in the class with. I think he was just trying to be funny in a weird way. But something happened, and can I swear?
Yeah, you can swear.
He ended up calling me a Polish bitch, which was like my first kind of like, in year 6 when you're 10, like saying bitch is like a big thing, isn't it? It's like a massive insult. So that kind of made me feel a bit like, oh, why do you have to single me out like that? So that was one of them. That was kind of the lighter thing. Later though, I was out with friends after school and we met these older boys, and one of them learnt that I was Polish and essentially said, if I see you again, I'm gonna kill you. So that was probably the one that really done it for me, because after that I was really scared to leave the house for a long time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Just in case I'd bump into him. Obviously, I didn't know what he was capable of. Later learned that he wasn't a nice person, just as a whole. So probably not someone that I would want to mess with. So yeah, that kind of set the scene for a while.
What was the impact of that then? You said, you didn't want to leave the house really, but what was the impact? How old were you at the time?
10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it happened in that first year of being in the UK. So it was difficult because I didn't really know how to respond to it apart from just be scared and just not leave the house. I just didn't want to bump into him. So yeah, I think that always kind of stayed in the back of my mind even as I progressed, going into secondary and everything like that. But yeah, it was just, it was quite tough at the time. Definitely.
How do you think the rest of your family found it moving over? And
I think what made it a little bit easier was the fact that my grandparents moved here 2 years prior. They kind of found their way a little bit. They had a house and everything, so we had somewhere to go to kind of begin with. And that made it a little bit easier because I'm really close with my grandparents. And I think for my parents, it was just knowing that there's someone there, that they're not completely on their own as well. Obviously, getting new jobs and starting their life all over again, because they essentially had to pack everything up and just start over, which I think is quite brave now thinking of it.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking, wow, like that is really brave. And I'm really glad they did it in the end.
What makes you say that?
Because the quality of life that I've managed to build as a result of that, I probably wouldn't have been able to if I was stuck in Poland. The opportunities just aren't the same. And the fact that I would not have been fluent in 2 languages, just all these little bits that add together. So I'm really, really glad that they did that.
So if you could sort of go back and have a chat to 10-year-old you now, what would you say and what would they want to hear?
First of all, don't give up. I think that's kind of the main thing. You don't want to go back to Poland. No matter how much you think you do, you really don't. And that it gets better. It definitely gets better. And I know that's quite a cliche thing to say because everybody always says, oh, it gets better. No, it does get better. No matter what you're going through, it does get better. So just keep pushing, keep going. Don't give up.
I can picture little 10-year-old you.
I was really chubby. Let's not be digging any photos out, please.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, I was a force not to be reckoned with from a very young age. Trying to make up little business deals here and there.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, yeah, I was a little businessman from day one.
Go on then. So what's your first business?
I think my first ever one, I was making jewellery out of like this like foil type paper that looked gold. And I was trying to like sell it on the street to all the passing neighbours, and they were like, no, what is this? It's just paper, like a ring. So yeah, that was like my first one. I don't even know how old I was. I must have been like maybe 6 or 7. Like I was really young when that happened.
And no one bought from you?
No, how rude.
Very rude.
Yeah, they were beautiful. The paper was really cute. Anyways, that was like the first one. As I got a little bit older, so maybe 8 or 9, because it was before I came to the UK, I had a tree house and I decided I'm going to open a shop. So I went to the shop, bought loads of stock and opened a shop in my tree house. done a little banner for it and everything. Didn't really anticipate the fact that the treehouse was in my back garden that nobody could see.
No one could see the sign.
Apart from me and my cousin. So we kind of just cut our losses and ate all the stock. It was brilliant. So failed business ideas, but nevertheless,
that's
the idea was
failed
there.
Business by age 9.
But it worked in the end. It's, that risk taker energy. Like, you just have to do it.
Just got to do it.
Yeah.
Should we keep going then? What's business number 3?
I then had a bit of a break. I'm trying to think what the next...
You needed a break after your second failure.
Yeah. I was just so stuffed. What was the next one? There probably was, so honestly, the amount of different things that I thought of and tried to create was just crazy. But the later ones didn't happen until I was kind of teenager in that sort of, I used to sell, don't tell my school this, I used to sell like Mars bars and stuff at school. Yeah, so I did that whole thing. Me and my nana used to go to Netto and get our 4-packs and 5-packs of chocolate bars, and I used to sell them for £1. So yeah.
So what profit were you making at the time?
Do you know something? It was actually quite profitable. Yeah. I can't remember exactly the money thing, but I had
bar then about 30p.
Honestly, when you got the 4-pack, and I'm sure the 4-pack was £1. So I was like, on decent money then, yeah. So I knew what people liked. So I'd always make sure my backpack was full. Honest, I was like a little Del Boy, but a girl version. But it worked. I had my little notebook with everything. It was great.
I'm really interested to know where that drive came from, where that spark came from. What made you, was there someone in your life that you looked to for that? Or?
My dad had his own business. So he was a builder. And me and him used to like drive around with his business cards and things around all the building sites. And he named the company after me. So I kind of felt like I was a part of it. I was like, this is like my first one. And it was great. But see, my dad is a bit of a people pleaser. And he would pay everyone else, but not himself. And he would work the most out of everyone. So it was like I was learning certain things from him, but also how not to do things. So, and I mean... yeah, I still work too much. But apart from that, I make sure that I pay myself well for doing so. But yeah, I feel like it was primarily my dad that kind of got me into that. And also the fact that my upbringing, as in like the family life was great, but money-wise was tight. So I was always motivated by the fact of like, I don't want to live my life like this. I want to make sure that they are protected in retirement so that I can provide for them if the time comes, if they need it, rather than struggling. I never wanted to struggle again when it comes to money. And that was kind of my main driver. I thought initially I would get that through employment. Very quickly learned that was not the thing. So I was like, well, the only way is to go my own way. And now I'm unemployable. If anyone's listening, don't bother.
Yeah, me too. Completely.
It's like once you go there, you can't go back. So, yeah.
So do you love it?
I love it. I love everything about it. The stress. Love it. No, it's honestly, it's been the best decision I've ever made. Just the freedom that it gives you. And that's what I've always wanted.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So this podcast is about turning points. I suppose we've spoken about a big one, which was that move to the UK at 10, which is huge turning point really early on. What other turning points have sort of marked your life, big or small?
I think there's been a few kind of key ones. I'd say one of the smaller ones, although in the grand scheme of things it was still quite big, was my first kind of proper relationship. That went south multiple times, went through a house purchase together that didn't quite go to plan, and it was just a massive big thing. But I learned a lot from that. So a lot of my healing, kind of going over all of that and doing the work that I have done, that kind of led to one of my businesses, which I'm really grateful for. So that was like the first difficult thing that I needed to go through in order to really learn more about myself. I guess because I always thought I was very mature for my age, and everyone always said, you're so mature for your age, blah, blah, blah. I feel like upon reflection, I realised that I wasn't as mature as I thought I was when it came to relationships, but also how much of my behaviour was also driven by what I've learned from other people. So yeah, that was one pivotal moment for me in terms of the healing, the personal healing. I'd say another one was probably going self-employed. I chose the perfect time, middle of a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was great.
Good timing.
Great timing. That was as a result of a bit of a breakdown. Because I was working in recruitment at the time, and obviously hit lockdown, and everything just went wrong. And all of a sudden I was getting micromanaged. So as soon as that started happening, I was like, I need a way out. So that's kind of when I just thought, I'm just going to have to do it. If I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And I just took the leap, and I thought, I'm going to make it work. And yeah, that was difficult, to say the least. I did get to a stage where I was like, what did I do? What did I do?
When you started?
Yeah, when I started self-employment, a few months in, when my money started to run out, and I was like, not really bringing that much in. And I just thought to myself, what did I do? And I was like, I can't go back to being employed. I can't see myself doing that. So that was probably the start of my spiritual awakening, actually.
That moment where you
when I was like,
you're regretting.
Yeah, when I was like, what did I do? What am I gonna do? And everything just seemed like I was just going deeper into this hole. And I was actually having a bit of therapy at the time. I mean, the therapy didn't help in any way because it was focused on something completely different. But I also started reading a lot of self-development books at that moment in time. And I just had, You Are a Badass.
Yeah.
That was my turning point. And I was just like, hold on a minute. I can change this. My mind can change all of this. And my poor therapist, right? I had one session where I was like, because he done like these numbers things, like, how are you feeling, out of 10? And I was like, 3, and, all those low numbers. And then the following, literally a week later, I jump on the call, because it was all on Zoom, jump on the call, and he does the exact same thing. And I'm like, 8, 9, 10. And he's like, what happened? Are you okay? Like, and he, bless him, he was so confused. And I said, I've just got it. I've just got it. I can do anything. And he was like, okay, should we talk about it? And I was like, I'm just invincible. Yeah, he probably thought I was crazy.
Just a brief pause to say I'm sponsoring and funding this podcast myself because I believe conversations like this matter. If today's chat is resonating with you, you can support future episodes by joining the email community at reflectiverebels.co.uk. You'll get honest insights, behind-the-scenes news, practical tools to try, and first access to new gatherings. Or if you're ready for a change in your story, then why not send me an email about coaching? There is a lot to unpick there.
Yeah.
A lot from, and they might not quite be your words, but breakdown, I think you said.
Yeah.
Launching something new.
Yeah.
Regretting it and feeling terrified.
Mm-hmm.
To spiritual awakening and I can do anything.
Yeah.
What kind of time frame does that take place over?
I'd probably say about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
that sounds
it just happened.
Quite a 6 months.
Oh, it was interesting, to say the least. It needed to happen though. Yeah.
Let's go step by step. So you said you can't be micromanaged.
Yes.
Talk us through what that felt like and why you rebelled against that.
I'm an Aquarius, so I'm a rebel by nature. So I seek freedom. Anytime that I feel contained in a cage in any sort of shape, way or form, I just rebel.
Smash it.
Yeah, I have to break out. It's almost like panic sets in, I need to break out. So micromanaging feels like that for me. It's almost like, if you don't trust me to do my job, what am I doing here?
So I'm interested in how you got from that moment to a decision, and I suppose not a decision, to an action to go self-employed. How does that work in your head where you go, do you know what, I'm doing it, and then you do it?
One day I just went over to my parents' house and I just broke down, and I never cry in front of them, and they were like, what's going on? And I was like, I just can't do it anymore. So yeah, they were just like, right, leave. Like, if you need your mortgage covered, we'll help you out. You don't have to worry about money. Just leave, because your health is more important. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And luckily I had a guy that I used to work with who had already gone self-employed as a mortgage advisor, and I wanted to get back into finance. And we did always say we would work together again one day. So I said to him, listen, this is my situation. I need to go self-employed right now. What can we do? And we just put our heads together and we're like, right, well, how about you be my paraplanner? So any cases that you bring forward to me, I'll advise on, but you get the commission for it. So you start earning money. And I was like, okay, that could work. So that's how we started it. I set up my social media, that took off, and the leads started coming in, and the rest was essentially history. Obviously, it took a while for that to all start building up, and at some point I was like, oh my God. So the first thing was all my friends, right? Who needs protection? Who needs a mortgage, just to get some money coming in? And then as the social media took off, that's when more leads came in.
So had you been successful on social media before doing other things, or was that new?
No, that was completely new. So because I thought I started off with YouTube. So I was doing like little vlogs and stuff like that. So I was doing educational videos first, but they were taking a very long time to edit. And I just felt like I'm just not getting as much out of this. So instead I thought, right, let me try TikTok. And TikTok kind of took off at the time because it was COVID. Everyone was on TikTok. And I just had one viral video that kind of changed the trajectory of everything.
Wow.
And then just started taking off from there. So yeah, that was the start of it. That really just changed everything for me.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And was that before or after you had that moment or time of, oh shit?
I think at the time it was just kind of like thinking, okay, well, what is next? And some of the leads were fine, but it still wasn't transferring over into enough to build a full pipeline to have the money that I needed to kind of survive. And I think the kind of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Was at a point where I was literally on like my last month of money of like, right, after this, I'm skint. Like I've got a mortgage to pay. How am I going to do this? But I think because I wasn't where I wanted to be, it was all of a sudden like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. And all those demons started showing their heads.
How did you feel at that point?
Probably a range of emotions. Partly like, what's the point? Why am I even here? Partly not wanting to give up. Partly fearing judgment. I think just every single emotion you can imagine.
All
at once, yeah.
Emotion.
And then all of a sudden, enlightenment.
Yeah, well, let's dig into that because
Yeah.
you described a spiritual awakening.
Yes.
I'm really interested to know.
That felt like an identity crisis. I genuinely thought, I was like, I'm having an identity crisis. I don't know who I am. And all of a sudden, everything that I thought was true kind of disappeared. And I was like, who am I? And I was literally questioning myself, like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand. And that's when I really started diving deeper into self-development books, and a lot of the creators that I was following online, they started to talk about manifestation and spirituality and stuff like that. And I was like, this is like resonating with me. Like, let me understand this a little bit more. And yeah, what done it for me to know kind of, oh my God, I'm going through a spiritual awakening, was I did actually just a video on TikTok, just speaking, like explaining what I was going through. And then someone commented saying, I think you're going through a spiritual awakening. And I was like, what even is that? Like, what even is that? And then I started diving deeper into it, and I was like, oh my God, like, I think I'm going through this. And then, yeah, that just changed my whole outlook on everything. And all of a sudden I was like, no, hold on a minute. This is how all of this works. Let me utilize it and let me use it to my advantage. I am the co-creator. I can do what I want. I can create anything.
That sounds really empowering. So that moment, what does it mean to not know who you are?
I felt lost, very, very lost, of like, oh my God, what do I do next? Because at that point, like you just don't know anything. And you're like, do I continue with what I'm doing? Do I leave the relationship I'm in? What do I do? What fulfills me? Like everything, it just felt empty. Like I was just so lost. And nothing kind of felt like, I don't even know how to describe it. Nothing felt fulfilling. I just didn't know if what I was doing was me. And I mean, that took years to then figure out, and I'm still in the process of truly figuring it out. But it all kind of contributed to where I am now. So powerful.
Yeah, very. So you say you're still figuring it out, or it took years. What was the catalyst? What were the... What shook you? You know, what...
Yeah.
What happened?
Again, I think that whole moment of obviously being afraid of not making the money to pay my bills, and then at the same time learning more about manifestation and trying to make it work for myself. And I think what really kind of opened my eyes to the fact that there must be something bigger at play was the fact that I actually applied for a grant, which I thought there is no chance I'm going to be eligible for this because it was through the beauty business. But it was like one of those grants that kind of they introduced later on that basically you didn't have to trade for as long in order to qualify for it. But I still thought, not a chance am I going to qualify, but I might as well apply. I did, and I got the money, and that literally tied me over to the next month. And from the next month, I started getting money coming in from the work that I was doing. So it was almost like everything started working out for me the more that I was changing my mindset about it, thinking, well, if I catastrophize it, it's not working for me. I've tried that. Let me change up my approach and see what happens then. So that was kind of, I'd say, like the first bit to make me think, I can change stuff here. I can do it. That's something I can control. And then opportunities just started diving in. And I got paid sponsorships from my TikTok, and yeah, that was making money. And I was just like, oh my God, like I just all of a sudden opened all these channels of money coming in. And I thought, I can do this. Like I don't have to give up. And then that kind of, I suppose, increased my motivation to keep going, to see what's next.
So you've mentioned manifestation a couple of times.
Yes, powerful manifester.
So tell me what that means to you.
I believe that we attract what we are. So if we continuously operate out of a place of fear, we're likely going to attract more things to be afraid of, and potentially the things that we are afraid of. But if we operate out of a place of opportunity, of openness, then you're more likely to attract that. And it kind of goes deeper into your limiting beliefs and understanding what your beliefs truly are about certain aspects and breaking through them to get to where you want to be. And ultimately believing that you can achieve whatever it is that you desire without thinking, oh yeah, but that's stupid. No. Some of the goals that I had back then, looking at my bank account, I was like, Jesus, how am I ever going to get to this? But through the power of just believing in myself, I hit those goals and I was like, oh my God, it happened. So yeah, for me, I think manifestation is more so just training your mind to work for you, not against you. That's how I see it working.
So if you don't mind, what were some of your limiting beliefs, would you say? You know, what was holding you back?
Jesus, we'll be here for another 2 hours. I guess a lot of it was fear of judgment.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me. Obviously that whole thing of not feeling like I was good enough or that I was doing enough. Limiting mindsets surrounding money, of, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. That's what I was brought up with. That it was difficult to make a lot of money, or that business has to be hard, and all these things that you're kind of conditioned with from a young age, especially when you grow up in a family that doesn't necessarily have a lot of money and everything is very like, well, you have to look after every penny that you've got and stuff like that. luckily that's made me really good with money in terms of money management. But at the same time, when it came to growth, I needed to expand because I was very much so confining myself of being like, well, I'm earning this amount of money, so there is no chance I'm going to earn any more than that. So I had to get over that mental block to be like, no, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know that it's happening. And that's exactly how it did. Because I just had a goal in mind of like, right, this is what I want to be earning. And I had no idea how it was going to happen. I had a vague idea of maybe through this business it might happen. But then when I was doing the numbers, I was like, Jesus, that's going to take a lot of work. And then when it did happen, it was a way that I would have never predicted. So it's almost like just being open to everything. But yeah, it's those limiting beliefs that I needed to get over, was the fact that I don't need to know the how. The how will be revealed as long as I'm in the right mind frame.
So that's what you mean about being open, I suppose.
Yeah,
it wasn't
definitely.
that you manifested something and then you set a number of steps ahead and you took those steps and you achieved it. You're sort of saying it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, a lot of these things literally came out of nowhere, because no matter how much I'd planned or thought that was going to be, where I'm going to go, it turned out to be completely different. And that's just not something that I could have even predicted. That was just me following my intuition 100%. That led me to where I wanted to be.
So you've described your limiting beliefs then. Mm-hmm. What's the counter to those now in this version of you? What are the...
One of them, I keep telling myself that I'm really lucky. Just like that positive affirmation. So yeah, I do believe that I am incredibly lucky. Gratitude is a big one. Very grateful for everything that I've already achieved. And anytime that I feel myself kind of falling back into old habits, I'm like, no, hold on a minute. Let's just have a look at everything that I have already achieved. Let's just give myself a bit of a pat on the back here for everything. But ultimately, it's just reframing any limiting belief that was coming up for me, such as I'm not good enough, to be like, no, you are more than good enough. You can do this. If they can do it, so can you.
So how did you do that? Because you're making it sound easy, but I know it's actually very difficult.
Honestly, discipline, power of the mind. I cannot stress that enough. For me, it was just like, do I want to continue living this life, or do I want to see a change? And it's almost like pick your hard. Both are going to be difficult. But I've always been very, very determined, even from a young age. So anything that I put in my head, that's it. Mm-hmm. That's my vision. I'm going towards it. And whatever I need to tell myself to get there, I'm telling myself. And I've kind of learned through various disappointments in terms of other people that I have to be my own biggest cheerleader. No one's going to believe in me like I believe in myself. And that was probably the toughest one to break through.
Yeah. And you mentioned the book, You Are a Badass.
Yes.
Which I'll pop a link to in the show notes because I think everyone should read it.
Yeah, it's a very good book.
What was it about that book, do you think, at that time that just unlocked something?
Yeah, I think... So first of all, it was the way that I heard about it, because again, it was one of the creators on YouTube who was talking about how to create a YouTube channel, and that was one of the books that really got her started on everything. So I was like, oh, well, I want to replicate her success, so let me read this book. And then I read the book, and obviously talked about manifestation and all of these things. And that was all brand new to me. And I was just like, whoa, this is incredible. Let me just see what I can do with this. And I just started essentially implementing some of those things into my day-to-day life. But I feel like the one that really done it for me is when I read the second book, which was You Are a Badass at Making Money, because that was like my biggest thing at that moment in time. That was the one that really transformed things for me, because it got me into a completely different mindset about making money. And people hate this word, but I had to be delusional. I had to be delusional for a period of time. I had to embody the version of me that was already making the money that I set out to make before I was seeing it in my bank account. Not perhaps like open and be like, oh my God, I'm making this much a month. But like to myself, I had to imagine, no, hold on a minute. Let's not be tight with my money. Let's spend on the things that are going to pay off in some way. So one of the things I did was actually, I think, what was I renovating at the time? Oh, it was my new beauty room, because I thought, right, I need a separate space for it because I'm doing more days on it now. So I spent a lot of my savings that I had to like live off on this massive renovation. But I was like, no, I know it's going to pay off. Like, I know it's going to pay off. So it did.
That was self-belief.
Yeah. And that was thanks to that book, because I was like, do you know something? I could be afraid, but what's the point? That's not going to get me anywhere. And that book has a lot of examples of how the author did it herself and just believed that she would make the money. So yeah, that was a big turning point for me.
Yeah. It sounds really brave.
I don't even think of it as brave, you know, like even looking back, I'm just like, it's something I just needed to do. It just felt right.
So I'm interested to know this spiritually awakened new you. What does joy mean in your life now, and where does joy show up?
I would say I actually done like a bit of I never know whether to say 180 or 360. A massive turning.
Yeah, you turned a lot.
Yeah. So for me now, joy is just being able to do what I want when I want, and just feeling more free. So for example, even just getting out on a hike on a sunny day, tomorrow's meant to be beautiful, I'll be out on those fells in the morning. Just being able to do that whenever I choose to do it. And that again kind of brings me back to the gratitude of like, oh my God, like if I was employed, I'd never be able to do this.
To just go.
And if I want to just go, I can go. Same with travel. I think what was really liberating for me was solo travel. It was a massive, and probably another turning point actually, but massive step for me, but so liberating. And now I can't imagine life without it. So hence why I travel quite a lot.
Yeah.
whenever I can get out the country, I am out. But those things bring me joy. So I often focus on like, okay, if I'm going to spend my money, what am I going to spend it on? And I'm not big on like buying clothes and going out drinking or anything like that. For me, if I can spend it on experiences, so even if it's fuel for the car so I can go out in the lakes, you'll find me on the drive. So yeah, for me, joy, I would say it's like the simple things now. I used to think it was all these like material things of, you know, massive house and sports car and everything like that. Don't get me wrong, there is still a small part of me that is desiring certain things like that, more so for the comfort than the image. It used to be for the image. I don't care about that anymore. It's more so my own desires and kind of proving to myself that I can achieve it if I put my mind to it. So for me, joy is just spending time with my loved ones, being able to help my friends or my family. Yeah, I would like literally the basics that I used to just completely overlook. And especially when I was really stressed with work, building the businesses, it was almost like that took a back burner. And I was just like, what am I doing? I'm working myself into the ground for what? And speaking of spirituality in all of this, I actually had an experience, and this was really freaky, FYI. And many people may not believe in this, but I was literally just lying down one day, and I was in kind of like a half meditation type of mode. And all of a sudden, I heard my granddad, who I've never met because he passed away before I was born, but he's from my dad's side. And he literally just said, if you carry on like you are, you'll end up with a heart attack like your dad. And I was like, okay. And he just came out of nowhere because I was really stressing at the time. And I was just like, okay. And that was like a bit of a wake-up call for me of like, I can't carry on like this. Something has to change. Something has to give. So now, probably selfishly, I prioritize myself. So if I want to go get a massage in the middle of the day, I'm going to go get a massage. And yeah, I do things now on my terms rather than everybody else's terms.
Do you think it's selfish? You said it's selfish.
Other people may perceive it as selfish. I don't personally think it is, because you have to pour into yourself first. That's my biggest belief. It's all about making sure that you fill your own cup first before trying to fill everybody else's. And I know, even just through kind of my track record now, looking back on everything, the times that I actually take time for myself and look after myself so that I can give more to others, not only do I make more money, but I'm just a better person.
Yeah.
I'm not as snappy. I'm not irritated as much. Still a little bit, but not as much. And I'm just a better person to be around. And I just feel more connected to myself rather than just continuously stressing about everything.
Yeah. Running around.
Yeah.
Crazily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's next then? This sounds like a lot, but there's a lot still to come.
Honestly, I leave it up to the universe now. I just surrender. I'm just like, right, whatever's next, just put it my way. What's next for me? I think with the businesses, there's various growth that's happening with those. So there's various plans that I've got in the pipeline right now that I'm executing. And that's always going to be something. But actually, for me personally, I'm on a great journey of evolvement right now. I've kind of gotten to like the next phase of my healing journey, whereby I've actually recently gone through a stage of just being a bit lost again, of like,
okay.
What am I doing? Like, is this in alignment with me? But this time round, this is truly about uncovering my authentic self and letting that shine, like letting it just play out in its whole entirety. I don't know if the world is ready for it, but we'll find out. I kind of feel ready for that now, rather than just.
And do you know what that means? Do you know?
I just like to have fun, and I just feel like the world needs more fun. And one of the things I keep saying to myself is, why so serious? Like, why are we so serious? This is a human experience. We're here to have a good time. And my motto for life is I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So whatever that means to people. Now, I'm not talking about numbing myself out with anything, like partying all the time and stuff like that. No, like for me, having fun is going up a fell or taking the random trip to wherever. Just doing something, totally being spontaneous and just living life and enjoying life for what it is, rather than continuously worrying about, what's next? Where is my next money going to come from? All of this. Because the more that I try to control that aspect, the more it doesn't work out. But if I just surrender to it and be like, you know something? I know where I'm heading and I know the right things will unfold as I'm heading there. Everything else, let's just have fun.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope that hearing that story has made you feel a bit more connected to them, to yourself, and maybe to the idea that change is possible. If today's conversation has stirred something in you, I'd love to hear about it. You can find me at reflectiverebels.co.uk, where you can also join my community for more stories like this one. Please do follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you're ready to explore what your own rebellion might look like, I'm here to support you through coaching. Because life really is too short to be shit. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep rebelling in whatever way feels good to you.